Welcome to the 2021-22 Child Care Food Program Annual Training. The Child Care Food Program provides aids to child care institutions and family daycare homes to provide nutritious meals and give wellness, healthy growth, and development of young children. Congress instituted the Child Care Food Program to improve national status and to prevent disease in children attending child care centers. In 1975, the program was expanded to daycare homes. Child Care Food Program is administered by the USDA Food and Nutrition Services through grants to state agencies. COVID-19, as we all know, we thought was pretty much on the downhill side. But as of now, with the cases that are going up, we all know it's not. And then we have the Delta variant. It's much more contagious than COVID, and it's running rampant in the United States. So we all need to get our vaccinations and make sure that we wear our masks and do our social distancing and what we need to stay safe. We really need to stop the spread of the germs, so make sure you wash your hands, you cover your cough when you sneeze or cough, you avoid close contact with people who are sick, you stay home when you are sick, avoid touching your eyes and mouth, and clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces. Please make sure to watch this entire presentation. When you finish watching this presentation and you have read and completed all the renewal paperwork we sent you via post office, please answer the enclosed questionnaire and return it to us. When we receive the questionnaire and all other renewal paperwork, we will send your training certificate for this year. Your renewal with the USDA Food Program will not be complete until you have answered the questionnaire, and you'll not be able to participate in the program beginning the new fiscal year, October 1st, 2021. As I told you, your certificate will be emailed to you when all your renewal is complete. Your 1099 for taxes will be emailed to you in January of 2022. If you don't want your 1099 emailed, please note it on the enclosed 1099 form, and we will send it by post office, but it could take much longer for you to receive it. You are required to keep copies of all food program related records for 3 years plus the current year. This includes, but is not limited to, meal count worksheet, menus, enrollment forms, infant feeding forms, review forms, and any other CCFP related paperwork. You must keep the previous months on site. The previous years may be stored off site as long as you can get it to us within 5 business days if we ask. All records dated prior to October 1, 2018 can now be discarded on October 1st, 2021. As I'm sure you all know, we are not doing on-site reviews. I don't know when that is going to end. Right now, the waiver we have ends June 21st, 2022, but it could, if COVID keeps on the way it is, it could be up, and the numbers are up, and we could be doing this for quite some time. But I will keep you informed, as I always do, of any changes or anything that's going on. But when your reviewer calls, she'll ask how you saved the required paperwork that you must keep for 4 years. Please ensure you have all paperwork you send to us and all paperwork you receive from us. Please make sure it's organized by month. It should be easy to keep as long as you put it in the paperwork in a folder or an envelope each month. If you save your disallowance letters and payment schedules in your computer, please make sure you have them backed up to a thumb drive or store them or some other form of backup. If you save them to a folder from your server, you do not have to back them up. Well, the reimbursement rates went up a little bit this year, not nearly what it went up last year, but it's still better than nothing. Your Tier 1 rates, $140, $263, and 78 cents. They're effective from July 21 to June of 22. We don't have a set payment date. You can usually expect to receive your reimbursement between the 12th and the 25th of the following month, but the state has 45 days to pay our claim. Claims are processed as quickly as we possibly can and as they are received. It is extremely important that you submit your paperwork in a timely manner. We request that you send your claims on the last day of the month. Our staff works hard on the first weekend of every month as well as holidays. If needed, our fax machines and emails are available 24/7. Unusual block claiming patterns. We go over this every year. Suspicious or unusual claiming practices are identified when the review of documentation does not provide a plausible or logical explanation for the claim, which is block claiming. Block claims are claims submitted where all children are present and claimed for every day, for every meal, and no one is ever late and no one ever leaves early. We're flagging them for additional reviews. The additional reviews can include parental contacts, review of ELC program documentation, DCF inspection reports, and sign-in sign-out sheets. All of the state agencies have access to each other's reports, so please make sure you are only claiming meals for the children when they are actually present and served. We do understand that your kids are almost always there. We understand that your parents hardly ever take off, and if they do, they still bring their children. We also know they still bring their children even when they're sick, but you still must pass the 5-day test. This is what a 5-day test looks for. It's on every review form. So you look at it right now on number 37. There were 2 there on the day of the review. On every single day before that day, there were 10. So so number 38, is the number of claimed meals served on the day of the reviews equal or greater than 85% of the average? No, they're not. So yes, we have to ask for an adequate explanation of that. So don't be offended when we ask you why you have that many kids or why you don't have kids or anything like that. That's part of our review. But you've got to pass the 5-day test or we're going to have to flag you for additional reviews. This is a corrective action plan. This is what you'll receive if you are over ratio on your bubble sheet, if you're not at home when we call for a review, or it could be many other different reasons. What will happen is what was wrong would be in this box, the first box, and then in the second box that says corrective action, you would need to write in what you plan to do to permanently and fully correct whatever was wrong. Forms and paperwork submission. This is the Child Care Food Program enrollment sheet. On the first line of the form, please make sure that you write in this part, your first name and your last name. Please do not leave it blank because many times the parents put in their own child's name. So when the sheet is sent in to me, I have no idea who it belongs to. Put your date of enrollment, your month, date, and year. Have them write the date of birth, the sex, the full name of the child, and that name needs to appear on your bubble sheet. And if they use nicknames and it's not on this enrollment sheet, please do not use that nickname. Whatever name is on that enrollment form is what you need to use on your bubble sheet. Write their address, their city, state, and zip. The primary hours of care are normally, I would say, from 6 to 6. That covers all the hours that you could ever serve meals. And so that way, if they change their hours, you don't have to change the enrollment sheet. The days of the week in care are, I would check Monday through Friday or Monday through Sunday, whichever one you do. I would tell them to check all of them, because if they say their child is not coming on Thursday, I'll bet you $1 pretty soon one of them they will come on a Thursday, at least part of the day. And then you'll have to get a new enrollment sheet, or it won't match what's on the bubble sheet. The meals typically served, I would have the parent check every one of these meals, because even though they say they won't be coming those times, you never know when their schedule is going to change or whatever's going to happen, and if all of those meals are not checked, you will have to get a new enrollment sheet. Have them fill out the family information and sign and date it. Well, this just pretty much says what I just already said, other than if you claim meals that are not included on the enrollment sheet, those meals will be disallowed. I've said this before, but I'm saying it for sure now. I spend a lot of time calling providers saying, you don't have the right hours for your child for your people on that enrollment sheet. I'm going to have to either disallow the meals, or you're going to have to get me a new enrollment sheet. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to disallow the meals. I just can't spend all that much time, and it's not fair to the people that do everything that's right to hold up the claim, having to make calls and wait on enrollment sheets. Enrollment sheets must be submitted for all children being claimed and updated annually in July. Enrollment forms are due on the first day that you claim a student for a meal. Let me say that again. Enrollment forms are due on the first day that you claim a child for a meal. Do not wait until the end of the month to send in enrollment forms. I still have people sending in enrollment forms at the end of the month. From now on, if I don't have that enrollment sheet the day that the child started the meals, I'm going to have to disallow the meals. So make sure to get me those enrollment sheets in the first day that that child attends your daycare. Please verify that the parents have completely and correctly done the whole form. The enrollment date and the signature date must be on or before the day you begin claiming the child on your meal count worksheet. The meals served at the days of the week in care plus the primary hours of care is also a requirement. Please keep a raw copy of each student's form with your records. We require our form and DCF requires their form. Please post the standard menu at your daycare. It has an effective date of July 1st of 2018. I haven't changed the menu, and I don't intend to unless there's a need for it. But it does have to be posted at your daycare. Please note that you use menu A January, March, May, July, September, and November. Both menu A and menu B's are both in your packets. If you don't use them, you can just discard them however you would like. This is menu B. Please note that you use menu B February, April, June, August, October, and December. I do know that some of you have gotten these mixed up and served the meals from menu A when it should have been menu B. So please be careful to serve the meal from the right menu. It's very important, especially at reviews. This is your menu replacement form. Some are already in your packet. If you change the standard menu, You must use this menu replacement form. Please write your name on the menu replacement form where it says provider's first and last name. Please write the date that you changed the menu, the meal type that was there, whether it was breakfast, lunch, or supper, the original food that was listed on the standard menu, and the foods that you replaced it with. This must be done if you use the standard menu. If you make your own menus, you can just merely change it on your menu. One thing you need to remember is when you do change the standard menu, if you are changing a meal that's listed with whole grain, you must substitute another whole grain. If you make your own menus, please make sure a whole grain is listed at least one time per day. This is your meal count worksheet. Please remember to write your name at the top of the meal count worksheet and the number of operating days. This is forgotten a lot when they come into me. So please remember to write that. The number of operating days is the number of days that you actually claimed at least one child for one meal. So it could be one, could be the number of operating days if you only had a child for, or no, any children for one day. But please count up the bubble sheet so you know how many operating days you have. On the bubble sheet, please write the child's name. Please write them in alphabetical order by last name. Let me say that again. Write them in alphabetical order by last name. The first time they enroll, you need to write an enrollment date. You do not have to write an enrollment date again after that, only just the first time, the first month they enroll. Please make sure you write down, you check whether they are infant, preschool, or school age for each child. When they withdraw, like Jane Doe, please make sure that you write the withdrawal date right there below, beside withdrawn on your bubble sheet. And again, please check the ages, whether they are infant, preschool, or school age. Those of you who use the automatic meal count worksheet generally all do it correctly, but I'm still going to go over everything because part of this applies to other things. Please be aware that the meal count worksheet must be entered daily. For your bubble sheet must be entered daily. Failure to do so will result in meal disallowance during any review and may cause the forfeiture of your privilege to use the automated meal count worksheet. You still must have the ability to print a copy of the meal count worksheet during every on-site review. Let me tell you, the state is still doing some on-site reviews. So in all aspects, you need to all still be careful to do everything you're supposed to do and keep up everything in your daycare, because you never know when one of them might decide to come and do a review on your daycare. But please be sure that as far as the automated meal count worksheet, you can print it every time that somebody asks for it. Having faulty equipment, a computer, a printer, or no ink is not an acceptable excuse for your inability to provide the meal count worksheet during any review. In case of equipment malfunctions, you must use the manual paper method and until your equipment meets all of the requirements regarding the automated meal count worksheet. Failure to adhere to the guidelines may result in the forfeiture to your right to use the automated worksheet. Meal disallowances may require further corrective action plans. If you have technical difficulties, you must have a manual system in place at all times. This is the automated meal count worksheet. It's pretty much the same as the other one. You will write your name, provider's name, you'll write the number of operating days and the month and the year. Again, they have to be in alphabetical order by last name. You still need to write the enrollment date, the first time they are enrolled. You need to write the withdrawal date when they leave, and you need to write whether they are preschool, school age, or school age. Preschool, kindergarten, preschool, infant, or school age. Okay? On this bubble sheet, you just simply write the number 1 for each day the child is there, and it self-adds in the top to the bottom. On both bubble sheets, please make sure you put the number of pages so that I know to expect whether 1 or 2 pages or however many you might have. This is the automatic meal count worksheet instructions. When you signed this, if you use the automated bubble sheet, you signed this paper and saying that you would do all the things that we just talked about. So make sure that you know what they are and that you do them. If you need a copy of this, I'll be happy to send it to you. Shifts. Just so you know, we're required to stay for the entire shift when we do a review of your daycare once we begin doing on-site reviews again. If you are no longer serving shifts, please don't check it on your provider data sheet and give us a call with any changes during the year. If you have shifts, you'll need to do the following. Every student that's claimed at a shift meal must appear on the shift schedule. Let me say that again. Every student that is claimed at a shift meal must appear on the shift schedule. If you claim a child for a shift meal and their name does not appear on the shift schedule, the meals will be disallowed. If during the month there are holidays, weekends, or non-school days, please send a separate shift sheet. I can't tell from what's going on unless you do this. If your shift schedules are not complete each month, you could lose your privilege of claiming shifts. This is your shift schedule. Please remember to write your name and the date at the top of the bubble sheet. For breakfast shift 1, say you had 10 school agers that came for breakfast and then they left. You would write, say they came at 6 o'clock and they left at 6:30. You would write every single name on the shift schedule number 1. Then, once they were all gone, you had 6 more children come in that were preschoolers. You would write their name on the shift schedule 2. All 6 of them would be written on the schedule. You would do that for each shift, for lunch, for afternoon snack, and for supper. If they don't appear on the shift schedule, they will be disallowed. This is your state of Florida mandated adult-to-child ratio sheet. If you're a family daycare, you can keep a maximum of 10 children if no more than 5 are preschool, and of those 5, not more than 2 are under 12 months of age. If you're a large family, you can have a maximum of 12 children with no more children than 8 under the age of 24 months. Reviews. Items that need to be posted in your daycare home. Your Building the Future poster, your WIC flyer, your standard infant menu if you have infants, children's menu, your DCF license, and your sponsor provider agreement. We are finding that many of you have not posted your sponsor provider agreement, and it must be posted along with all of your other posted materials. Please take a look at it and make sure that your sponsor provider agreement has your name written at the top. If not, please do that before you hang it back up. As I told you before, the state may be coming in anytime soon to do a review of, I know they're going to do 5 homes for sure. I have no idea who they're going to choose, and you need to make sure that all of this is posted now and that everything is done well in your daycare. Well and correct. As always, you must train your substitute in all of the program requirements. Your substitute must be capable of answering questions, locate your food program related documents, as well as perform an approved meal service at an on-site review. It is imperative that we have your most updated phone number. Please make sure that on your phone form you write your most updated one. So, if the state chooses you to come to your home for their review, some of the things that we are finding wrong, or we did find wrong before, are no one being home at mealtime with no prior notice given. Another thing I've found, even with our reviews by phone, we can't get a hold of you. You don't return our calls, and the reviewer can't, you never call her back. Please, if you don't have her phone number, let me know so you can be sure when the phone rings and it's that number that you pick it up. Because if it goes on too long without us being able to get a hold of you, I'm going to have to write you a cap because there's no other choice that I have. Okay. Not serving a meal at the scheduled meal time. Make sure you serve that meal time at the scheduled meal time every day. I know it's kind of hard sometimes when kids come in on Mondays and they want to go to bed early. You want to do things differently. You never know when the state's going to come. You need to make sure, or us when we get back. So make sure that you serve it at the right time. Claiming children's meals who are not present at the time of the review. That means like claiming a child who ate breakfast and then left, and then you claimed him, but he wasn't there at your mealtime. Not submitting menu change forms when changes are recorded at the review. This is still happening. You're not sending in your meal changes forms with your bubble sheet. Make sure they're sent in with your bubble sheet as well as to the reviewer. Not serving the proper milk, or not having the correct milk type on hand, or not serving the required amounts. When we do the desk reviews, we look at your pictures of your meal, and we can pretty much tell whether you're serving the correct servings or not. If your cup is an 8-ounce cup, you can't serve 8 ounces to a school ager of milk. Cleaning supplies are not stored separately from food. Again, this is the 5-day test that's on every review. If you look at this, the day the reviewer called, your number was 4 that were there, and on the days prior to that, there were 6, 6, 5, 2, 3, which equals 22. Then we divide that by 5, which equals 4, times 0.85, which equals 3.5. So this provider passed the 5-day test because it was the same or less than the number of children present. So they passed the 5-day test. Be careful to claim these exact numbers on your meal count worksheet, and don't change the meal count worksheet after a review. If you change the meal count worksheet after a review, those meals will be disallowed. When the reviewer comes for an on-site review, please make sure to give them your bubble sheet and begin to print immediately if you use the auto bubble sheet. Please find your thermometers in all refrigerators and freezers you use for daycare, and make sure your refrigerator is 41 degrees or below and the freezer is 0 degrees or below. Make sure that processed foods have codes which appear on the approved commercially processed combination food list, or you have a CN label. At reviews, we are required to make sure your home is safe, sanitary, insect and rodent free. Always have your sponsor agreement posted with your other food program documentation. Make sure you can produce 1 year of copies of CCFP material and that this information is organized. While you may not have to do all of this at the desk reviews, make sure that you answer the phone, make sure that you get the bubble sheet to the reviewer, Make sure you look at your thermometers and you have the right thermometer readings, and that everything, like all of this is done. Reminders. I already said that. Make sure prepared foods in the refrigerator. Okay. Wash your hands as well as children's hands with soap and water. If you change your menu, it must be changed and posted in advance of the meal. You cannot post it after the meal has begun. It must be in advance. If you need a menu replacement form, there's one at our website. You could receive an inspection from CCF personnel at any time, with or without our staff. They will have badges and will be looking at the same things we observe at our reviews, but they will probably be on-site reviews. Okay, onwards and upwards to nutrition. This is your meal pattern for children. Please make sure that you look at this from time to time. There's one enclosed in your packet to know exactly how much you're supposed to serve. For instance, if you look at the milk at breakfast, you must serve 4 fluid ounces to a 1 and 2 year old, 6 fluid ounces to a 3 to 5, and 8 fluid ounces to a 6 to 12 year old. The same goes down across the board for all the different foods. You can look at it and find out exactly how much you're supposed to serve for each and every one of these. This is just the last sheet of the meal patterns for children. Breakfast must consist of at least 3 of the following components: fluid milk, a vegetable, fruit, or juice, a grain, or a bread. The grain or bread component may be replaced with the meat or meat alternative component up to 3 times per week. Cereal may contain no more than 6 grams of sugar per dry ounce. At lunch and supper, you must serve a fluid milk, a vegetable, a fruit, vegetable, or 100% fruit juice, a grain and bread, a grain or bread, a meat or a meat alternative. You cannot serve 2 fruits in the same meal. Lunch and supper must contain at least 1 vegetable and 1 fruit or 2 vegetables, as long as they are different. Snack must contain one of the 5 components listed here: grains and breads, meat or meat alternative, a fluid milk, a vegetable or a fruit. A vegetable or fruit must be served at least twice a week. This can be fresh, canned, or frozen. Only 1 beverage can be claimed at snack. Okay, you're required to serve 1-year-old children unflavored milk, whole milk. They have to have whole milk. You're required to serve ages 2 to 5 unflavored 1%, low or fat-free. You're required to serve children 6 through 12 unflavored or flavored 1% or fat-free milk, but it has to be fat-free if it's flavored. 2% milk is not credible for anything on the food program. If you make your own menus, make sure that unflavored, fat-free, or 1% or whole milk is served. It appears on the menu, which if you use our menu that you can write into, it's already on there. Other credible milks are buttermilk, goat's milk, commercial eggnog, acidified milk, lactose-free and lactose-reduced milk, soybean milk, but parent's letter or doctor's note must be on file if soy milk is being served in place of cow's milk. If a child is unable to have milk, you ask the question, will I be reimbursed for the child's breakfast, lunch, or supper? Yes. You must obtain a medical statement, and a medical statement is in your packet. A doctor's note stating the disability, what food must be replaced, and what food they can be replaced with. Please contact our office with any child-specific questions or concerns that you might have. This is a picture of just showing you what a cup looks like. So a cup would be about 2 3/4 of an apple. A cup would be about 1 slice or 1/8 of a cantaloupe and 1 large banana. Lunch and supper must contain at least 1 vegetable and 1 fruit, or you may serve 2 vegetables as long as they are different. Fruits and vegetables containing vitamin A must be served at least twice a week, and fruits and vegetables containing vitamin C must be served daily. If you use the standard menu, that's already incorporated in the menu. Juice may be used as a fruit or vegetable at any meal. Juice may only be claimed once per day, and only 100% juice is allowed. Juice cannot be served to infants. With grains and breads, at least 1 serving per day must be 100% whole grain. If you use the standard menu, it's on there every day at lunch, so you will be meeting the requirement. If you do not meet the standard menu, please make sure that you add a whole grain at least 1 time per day. Grains and bread must be whole grain, enriched or made from whole grain or enriched meal flour. There's a flow chart in your packet showing you how you can go down to each side and make sure that you're serving a whole grain. The label on the bread must say 100% whole grain meal, whole grain flour, bran, or germ in order to be creditable. Once again, the whole wheat pasta must say whole wheat or whole grain. As I'm sure you already know, you cannot serve anything sweet other than muffins, graham crackers that are not sugared, and animal crackers that are not frosted. Any of the other things on this page are not creditable. I mean, look at the chocolate chip cookies. Look good, huh? French toast, waffles, and pancakes are creditable if served plain or with a small amount of syrup, and your cereal must contain 6 grams of sugar or less. Meat or meat alternatives are lean meat, poultry, fish, cheese, eggs, yogurt, dried beans or peas, nuts, but they must fulfill no more than 1/2 of the meat alternative requirement for lunch and supper. Ounce equivalents are coming. It seems the whole world wants us to use metrics. Ounce equivalents merely mean changing over to use grams instead of ounces. It's not as hard as it seems, and we have at least until June of 2022 to learn it. In your packet is a pamphlet explaining the process. Look over it and see everything is well explained. Please save this pamphlet for future trainings. We'll give you further instructions when the time comes. We have a PowerPoint that we can give you to read it whenever this actually comes, but it may not even come until after the pandemic is over. We just don't know. These are just some pamphlets showing ounce equivalents. Take a look at them, but don't take too much time with them, because it'll all be explained more to you when it actually starts. These are some more pamphlets that were in your packet. Like I said, just take a look at them and we'll discuss it more when we need to. Peanut butter. I'm sure you know by now that you have to serve a lot of peanut butter in order for it to be creditable. It's a requirement that you serve peanut butter to the ages and amounts below. Lunch and supper ages 1 to 2, 2 tablespoons, ages 3 to 5, 3 tablespoons, age 6 to 12, 4 tablespoons. At snack, ages 1 to 2, 1 tablespoon, ages 3 to 5, 2 tablespoons, and at ages 6 to 12, 3 tablespoons. So since it is so much peanut butter that you have to serve, what you have to do is you have to serve half of the peanut butter and half of another protein in order for it to be creditable. Say you wanted to serve a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to a 2-year-old. Just use 1 tablespoon and then give them an egg or a piece of cheese, a boiled egg or a piece of cheese or something like that. Yogurt must contain no more than 23 grams of sugar per 6 ounces to be creditable as a meat or meat alternative. Yogurt in the tube is not creditable. Creditable cheeses: natural cheese, pasteurized cheese, cheese food, cottage cheese. However, natural cheese and pasteurized cheese, you can serve 1 ounce for 1 ounce. Cheese foods, you have to serve 2 ounces in order for it to be creditable. Non-creditable cheeses: imitation cheese, cheese product, cheese sauces need a CN label. Okay, let's look at the Kraft singles. If you buy Kraft singles, they are an imitation cheese. They're not creditable on the USDA food program. You can go to Publix or Walmart and buy their cheeses, and they are a cheese product, not an imitation cheese, and you can serve those, but you must double the amount that you have to serve of them in order for them to be creditable. If you just buy the cheese in the packet that it does not wrapped, then that is 100% cheese, and it's as creditable 1 for 1. Deep frying is not allowed as a way of preparing food in the USDA food program. You can pan fry with a small amount of oil, but that's the only way that you can fry foods. Hot dogs and bologna must be all meat and poultry products with no broad products, cereal, or extenders. So make sure you look for, like Ballpark Franks, they say 100% beef, or if they say 100% turkey or 100% chicken, that's fine. Just make sure it says 100% of the meat that is in them. This is a CN label. Anything that with a CN label on it is creditable on the USDA food program. However, you will need to call me in advance to let me know what it is so that I can let you know how many servings you need for each product. Main dish combination products that are commercially processed, such as ravioli, beef stew, spaghetti with meat sauce, egg rolls, pizza, chicken nuggets, and fish sticks, must contain a CN label, or they must be on the UPC code that is in your packet. This is the UPC code list, or the approved commercially processed combination food list. The things on here are creditable on the USDA food program, but you must serve them in the age-appropriate sizes for 1 to 2, 3 to 5, and 6 to 12, which is across the top, and you can look down and see each individual product and know how many you have to serve. If you are serving these things, you need to keep the UPC code from the product and keep it, say, in a drawer or something, so that if anybody asks you, if they come for a review, say the state comes for a review, you will have it and you can show it to them, and there won't be any problems with the review. You must make water available to children throughout the day. Small children cannot put the request into words sometimes when they are thirsty, so you must offer the water to small children several times a day. It's a really good idea to measure the food every so often to keep you straight, to make sure you're serving the right amounts of food. If the reviewers come in to look at your food and you're not serving the right amounts, they may ask you to measure it for them. And so you need to make sure that you know exactly how much is in each piece of meat and each milk, and the vegetables. Make sure you know exactly how much you're supposed to serve to each child at each age. Infant nutrition. This is an infant feeding form. On this infant feeding form, please make sure to write your name at the top where it says provider name or child care facility name, Underneath it, it has two formulas, a milk-based and a soy-based. You must put both lines there. You must offer the same thing for both lines, a milk-based parent's choice and a soy-based parent's choice. These infant feeding forms have been coming into me, and you only have one formula on there like the milk-based. It doesn't matter. This is what you offer to supply across the board to all children in your daycare. So you have to write it down on the infant feeding form for the parent to see. If the parent wishes to use another formula, they can supply it by writing their name and formula they wish to supply on the infant feeding form down at the bottom, saying, I wish to supply my own formula. And an infant feeding form is required for all infants. This is the standard infant menu. Your name must be up at the top where it says the name of the child care facility. And once again, you must write the milk-based formula and the soy-based formula that your daycare offers to supply across the board to all infants coming into your daycare. Again, you must have parent's choice on milk-based. Whatever formula you offer to supply must be on the milk-based and the soy-based line. And it must be posted if you have infants in your home. Just one more time, on the standard infant menu and the infant feeding forms, you must have your name, you must have the milk-based and the soy-based formula that you use, and it must be posted if you have infants at your daycare. This is the meal pattern for infants. One is located in your packet. This just tells you exactly how much formula and food that you need to serve to infants. Infants birth to 5 months may only be served formula or breast milk. You must have documentation from the parent if they want you to serve food to an infant under 5 months old. And you must have it in your daycare, and you must send me a copy if you're serving anything other than formula or breast milk. You're allowed to claim meals when the mother directly breastfeeds her infant in your daycare, and a vegetable or a fruit combination or both must be served to infants over 5 months at every meal, including snack. Juice of any sort is not creditable for infants. Well, I just told you about juice. It's not creditable. Okay? Never serve honey to an infant less than 1 year of age. Honey may contain botulism spores and could be deadly to an infant. Infant feeding. On their jar food, the first ingredient must be the actual fruit or vegetable to be creditable. It can't be water. It has to be the actual fruit or vegetable. Combination foods and dinners are not creditable. That would be something like beef and noodles or chicken and rice. Nothing like that is creditable. Your baby food can be either prepared by yourself or you can buy it. If you look at these two baby food jars, you can see on the first one, the first ingredient is water. It is not creditable. On the second one, the first ingredient is pears. It is creditable. Once again, the standard infant menu must be posted. The formula offered section on the top must be complete. Remember, an infant feeding form is required in addition to the enrollment sheet to enroll all children that are infants. Well, here we are at 2021-22 renewal. So it's time again to prepare your paperwork for next year. To the right is a checklist of the items needed to complete your renewal. All paperwork is due into our office by September 15th, 2021. Again, all paperwork is due into our office by September 15, 2021. All of these items are in your packet. That would be your 1099 authorization to have it emailed to you, your holidays open schedule, your training letter, your alternate phone number letter, your provider data sheet, any updated enrollment sheets. Your sponsor and provider agreement does not need to be updated again this year, so don't worry about that. Just keep it posted. All forms can be accessed at our website, which is infantandchildnutrition.org, but unless you put the infantandchildnutrition.org into your top browser, it will not find it. I don't know why, but just make sure that you put it into the top browser. This presentation is now available on the website for your convenience or for future reference from this training. This is your notice to write to administrative review. I think I put this in here earlier, but what this is if you do some things that are really bad and you get a serious deficiency and then you get a termination notice, you do have other avenues to fight it. You can ask for a notice to the right of administration review if you think that you are right. So that packet, that is enclosed in your packet. After you finish this presentation, make sure you've gone through this packet that was sent to you through the post office. Please answer all the questions on the questionnaire and fax, email, or bring it to the office. The questionnaire is a mandatory requirement to complete your training and renewal with the Child Care Food Program. This was mandated by Tallahassee since we did not have an in-person training again this year. When we receive all of your new enrollment sheets, the 5 sheets that are noted on the renewal paperwork with your questionnaire, we will email your certificate of completion for 3 hours of training with DCF. Thank you and have a wonderful rest of your day. And please get vaccinated to stay safe from the COVID and the Delta variant viruses. Bye.